What is going on, guys? Happy Monday night to you all. This is the Club of the Man 1993, and yes, I am here live for my live review of last night's pay-per-view, WWE Fastlane 2021. The final stop, the final pay-per-view before WrestleMania 37. We're going to break it down and go along as we'll talk about this show right before the beginning of Raw. This show took place last night, March 21st, 2021, at the WWE Thunderdome, which we will not be saying that the next time, well, besides Capital Wrestling Center when we talked about TakeOver, Stand and Deliver, but the next main roster pay-per-view, we will not be saying at the WWE Thunderdome. We will be saying Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. But we had Fastlane last night. I'm going to talk about all 8 of the matches that took place on the show. I was not supposed to be reviewing this show today. I didn't review it last night. I got home late. Had to work today, of course. And then I did have plans today. Unfortunately, though, they got scrapped. So instead of reviewing this show tomorrow night, I'm reviewing this show tonight before Raw. I don't plan on going live for Raw tonight. My plans for today got moved to tomorrow. So probably won't be reviewing Raw till Wednesday night, probably. But I will try after Raw to come up here and I'll do a very, very quick video. Maybe in between like a commercial break or something like that. Tonight on Raw to talk about Andrade's release. But I'm stalling. Fastlane. Let me be 100% honest with this show. Like Elimination Chamber, I came out of it feeling like nothing got accomplished. Nothing, well, here's the thing. I came out with a lot of things in the show. Even though some of them were good, I still felt like this show was not necessary. They didn't need to have this pay-per-view. A lot of the great stuff we had on this show could have taken place on an episode of Raw or SmackDown. We didn't need Fastlane. Again, I'm sorry. We've never needed Fastlane. If they want Fastlane, treat it more like a network special. Not like an actual, pay-per-view that gets so much attention and so much hype and such. I don't know. It's like, tease WrestleMania, but tease a little stop. Don't overhype it as a pay-per-view. Again, this show, Fastlane just was never meant to be a show to hype up WrestleMania. It really wasn't. We had some things on this show that did set up WrestleMania well. I'll at least give it credit that it was a little bit better than I expected it to be. I didn't think this was a complete dud. The first half of the show, I hated. If you want to talk about garbage, the first half of the show, yes. 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 The first half of the show was definitely garbage. The second half of the show, though, was pretty good. Especially that main event. We'll talk about that main event. But the first half of this show, dear Lord, I was already disgusted. I was already turned off. I was more looking forward to, after the show, playing Mario Kart with my good friend Joe Miller. Which, by the way, did you watch our live reactions? Yes, they were priceless. Almost 1,000 views on my Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan live reactions. Thank you to everyone. We at one point had nearly 50 people viewing it at once, which was pretty high for me. So, yeah, definitely, thank you, everyone who definitely took the time to watch our live reactions. We're going to try to do some during NXT TakeOver, Stand and Deliver, and WrestleMania. We're going to try to do live reactions. So, definitely, definitely stay tuned for those as well, because those will be a lot of fun. I love doing live reactions. There's us being us, and it's a lot of fun. But let's talk about Fastlane. Again, I'm going to scheme through most of these matches. Like I said, most of the matches, especially the first half, were just bad. I I was not a fan of it at all. The first match that we had, actually, I did not get to see, was on the pre-show, which was I thought it would be once the match was randomly announced. Matt Riddle, the United States Champion, taking on Mustafa Ali for the United States Championship. I'm like, put this on the pre-show because why are we doing this match again when we just did it on Raw? And Matt Riddle retained, and apparently Shane, I'm saying their real names because I am hoping to God this is them set free. Shane Thorne and Mia Yim walked out as Mustafa Ali was just ripping them to shreds. And then Dominic Dijakovic and Dio Madden did like a double choke slam on Mustafa Ali. So I guess that means that's the end of Retribution. I hope to God it is. Because that stable sucked. It sucked so bad, it made no sense. How do you basically allow guys to stomp all over you and then sign them to contracts and draft them to one of your shows? How much sense does that make? Zippo. So yeah, props again to Mustafa Ali. He tried so hard. He really did. He tried so hard to get something out of it. And it just did not work. It didn't work. He tried, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. And yes, we got Mark in a live chat. What's up, Mark? He says, yes, finally, no more Retribution. Does that mean they're going to lose the mask, go by their original names? I hope to God, yes. That's what I'm hoping for. Again, let Dominic Dijakovic be Dominic Dijakovic. He'll be awesome. Mia Yim will be Mia Yim again. She'll be awesome. Shane Thorne, I liked it with TM61, but I don't know about him by himself. Dio Madden, didn't see much of him, by himself before he became Mace. But especially Dijakovic and Mia Yim. I'm hoping they just set them free and let them be them again. That's what I'm hoping for. So, yep, can't really grade this one because I didn't watch it, but I saw that happen. I'm like, glory, hallelujah. We kicked off on the main card with one of the two matches that I was least excited about. This women's tag title match, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. How much longer are these two going to be a freaking tag team? How much longer is Shayna Baszler going to be Nia Jax stooge? And yeah, how much longer are we going to keep this Reginald thing going on too? They took on they didn't take on Shayna Baszler. They took on Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. This is basically a repeat of what exactly happened, except for the fact that, of course, Reginald was obviously out there to be with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler because Nia loves Reggie! Same thing. Reginald costed them the match. When the match ended, it felt like, then why would we do this? What was the point? And then afterwards, Sasha and Bianca started arguing, and Sasha slapped Bianca across the face, just teasing some random tension between them. Again, for this build for WrestleMania, you didn't have to get them involved like this. Well, it maybe could have worked to an extent, but, again, when you got Nia Jax involved, of course it's going to be trash. Because, I'm sorry, not a fan of her. And when you're having Shayna Baszler be the stooge to protect Nia Jax, it just makes it much worse. So yeah, now that the path is clear, no more of this tag title shit with Sasha and Bianca. Let's just get to WrestleMania and see what they do. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm still wanting to see Bianca win. I still do. But I don't know what's going to happen now with that match. I'm still hoping it's going to be good, but who knows. So, we got that match. The next match, Big E and Apollo Crews for the Intercontinental Championship. This was a very good 5-minute match. But what happened was, they ended it just as it was getting ready to go into the next gear. They had this, well, first off, it was, for what the 5-minute match it was aggressive, obviously, it showed that these two have a lot of, beef with each other, well, storyline-wise. I thought that was going good. Of course, Big E does his big vicious spear through the ropes and takes out Apollo. But then it ends with this very awkward double roll-up. And they declared Big E the winner, but I think they were trying to go for a double pin to be able to continue this feud into WrestleMania. And it left me thinking, what was the point of doing this match? See, the thing was, if they hadn't done this match already multiple times earlier in the year, then I'd be okay with this. But the fact that, again, they've done this match how many times already when Apollo was still a face, and now they made him a heel, now it's like, okay, they've fought each other how many times already? So, why not just skip Fastlane? They could have had, Apollo Crews take on somebody else. I don't know. Who's another? Not Cesaro. Why not Kevin Owens? Apollo Crews and Kevin Owens or something. I don't know. Had him defeat Kevin Owens, and then have Big E return here to set up the match at WrestleMania or something like that. I don't know. Again, why they have to just throw this on the card and just act like it was not necessary to happen. Definitely disappointing, but at least at WrestleMania, there's probably going to be some sort of a stipulation to it. So, we'll see what they do at Mania. But yeah, this felt like it was not necessary to happen. Also, this next match. So, we were originally supposed to get Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon. Or the Strowman Express versus the Stupid Express. Because that's the storyline. Shane McMahon thinks Braun Strowman is stupid. And again, just how bad the dialogue, how bad the build and everything is. And the fact that they're going to be doing a match at Fastlane, this is probably supposed to be meant for WrestleMania, which it's going to happen at WrestleMania, no doubt about it. But they do this thing where they have this segment shown where Shane McMahon was, practicing on some punching bags. He does do some jumping knee, but comes down and claims he hurt his knee. But the knee he claimed he hurt was the knee that he did the jumping knee with. He landed on his right leg, but I think he was selling for his left. And coming from a guy who has suffered a knee injury before, I was just thinking, why wouldn't he sell the right leg? Because that one was more convincing coming down and, and injuring the leg. The left one, it's it was a very bad sell, I thought. But basically, he had Elias take his place. And then they have the very dud of a match. It was Strowman basically. There was a point in the match when Jackson Riker actually just threw Elias back in, and then Strowman took his good old time and just stared down Riker and chased him down or something. I'm just can they make him look any more stupid? The story is saying that Shane thinks Braun Strowman stupid. Well, that does not mean don't literally make Braun Strowman look stupid. What happened to the guy who, pulled down a scaffold, flipped over an ambulance, flipped over a semi, literally just, threw Roman Reigns off of a cliff on a stretcher or something like that. Now we're getting this. I don't even know what they're saying to do with Braun Strowman. But he wins. It was just another match. I was okay, why do we do it? What was the point of doing this match on a pay-per-view? Again, this was just another segment on Raw. Very bad one, but, whatever. Nobody in the live chat, so let's move on. Oh, wait a minute. Did I skip over it? Let me see here. Oh yeah, before this match though, we had a segment with Rick Bujez calling himself Joseph of Average, advertising for some Old Spice thing, and wound up having him pin R-Truth for a 24/7 title, and then Truth won it back, and then like Akira Tozawa and Drew Gulak got involved in it. Just get rid of that damn title, for crying out loud. And the women's tag titles, please. Ah, dear Lord. The following match after this match was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins. This match was good, but again, like I said before in my preview, this obviously is a match that could easily be a classic. Easily be a match of the year candidate. And other than the fact that it was good, it felt like a match you see on SmackDown. Not super duper, dramatic, not really, as crazy as, mind blowing as it should be. It was just a solid match on a pay-per-view. But it's like, obviously, if, set free, these guys could really put on a clinic. So, this was good, but could expect better. That's all I gotta say about it. Moving on to Cesaro and Rollins at Mania. This, though, was good. This match. Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus, no holds barred. Again, my still gripe about this is this was not a number one contenders match. So, again, what was the point of this being on a pay-per-view if, Sheamus had nothing to gain in return if he would have won this match? But, adding a no holds barred stipulation, I'll give these guys credit. They basically put on what I expect them to put on pay-per-view. A really good match. Drew McIntyre came out with that war paint on his face, which was different, but I liked it. And like I said, these guys literally just beat the piss out of each other. They brawled all over the arena. They had, decent use of, weapons, kendo sticks, and such. They brawled on, the different, stages in on the LED boards and everything. Of course, my favorite spot in the match was when Drew McIntyre threw Sheamus through one of the LED boards for the Thunderdome, and he fell through. And obviously, I was like, okay, somebody in the Thunderdome just got knocked over. If you were that person who was on that screen that they ran into and they had to break because of them going through, I'm like, oh, that just sucked. You literally just got knocked out because, Sheamus took you out there. Well, Drew McIntyre threw Sheamus into you, but you know what I mean. So Sheamus did a nice looking jump off of the barricade through the table for white noise. Again, these guys, they had a pretty good brawl, as I expected. Drew McIntyre, of course, as we expected, did win with a bro kick after he had a future shock DDT on Sheamus into a piece of the announce table. And, like I said, would have been better if this was a number one contenders match, but what they did was what I expected. So, great match. Give them credit. Probably my second favorite match of the night. Let me see here. We got Tyler in the live chat out saying he gave it a 4.5 out of 10. Not bad. The Fiend is back from the dead, and Drew and Sheamus should have been the main event, he thought. I disagree. I disagree with that one. I do think we had the right match main event in the show, but we'll talk about that in a moment. We gotta talk about this next one. Alexa Bliss versus Randall Keith Orton. Randy Orton took on Alexa Bliss. Now, coming from the guy who even said in my predictions for my last several Raw reviews that I am just tired of this feud. Now, the thing is it intriguing? Yes. The weird-ass stuff they're doing is great. But like I said before, this is just dragged on for way too freaking long. And if it didn't go somewhere else here, then I was done. Well, it did go somewhere else. Even though it was super predictable, it got there. It was basically just a mind game segment. Orton went in to go for Bliss, but then Bliss, just set off some flames, blocking Randy from entering. Randy did go shoulder first after Alexa dived away. She's with a fireball in his face. He threw out the black tar again. There was a spot also that I actually liked where Orton went to walk towards Alexa, and a scaffold dropped from the ceiling, which was, pretty cool. A few other things happened, but it was basically Alexa Bliss playing some mind games with Randy Orton. And then towards the end of the match, we see a hand, peek up from underneath the ring and grab onto Randy Orton. And then fire flame through it, and risen from the ashes was The Fiend. I guess they're making it look like, he came back and all burnt up from the ashes. I guess that's what his costume was. I'm not sure. But he rose, and then basically helped Alexa Bliss win. And then Sister Abigail and Alexa Bliss gets the pin and defeats Randy Orton, thanks to help from The Fiend. So, did what it did. The Fiend's back. I thought it was good. It was very satisfying. And we can finally move on further with the storyline as The Fiend is finally back. Of course, his story about him is rising, his ashes from ashes. We'll have to see what that is tonight on Raw. So, yeah, we got that one, which was fine. Then we got the main event. Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship with Edge as the special guest enforcer. This match was definitely very good. Not quite a classic, but very good. It started off, kind of slow and whatnot. It took a while to get out of the first gear, I thought at first. But, again, it played along that story of Daniel Bryan saying he was going to make Roman Reigns tap out. And Roman Reigns says, I'd much rather die in the ring than tap out to you. And at the beginning of the match, Bryan really did work on the shoulders of Reigns. Obviously, trying to affect one of his strokes to just be his spear. And it was like every time when Bryan was about to, get one up Reigns in his own game, Reigns be backing off. But then Chaos really instilled more. Later in the match, it really picked up. It got really fast-paced, especially when Bryan started locking his submissions on Reigns and bending his arms very, awkwardly and just tough. Edge, of course, watched on from Reigns' side as special guest enforcer. When they did a referee bump where the referee went down, that's when Edge, of course, stepped in, and Jey Uso got involved, and he attacked Edge, even with the steel chair. And he also attacked Bryan, also trying to help out Roman Reigns. But then, eventually it did not work, as Bryan gets the chair, and he starts whooping the hell out of Jey Uso. Finally, when he got Jey Uso out, he basically looks around and he's like, referee watching, he goes, okay, and he starts pounding Reigns with the chair. And then he sets up Reigns, who is standing right in front of Edge. He goes to smack Reigns again with the chair. Instead, Reigns gets out of the way, and Bryan hit Edge. I'm like, oh, shit. So they continue to go at it. And then, you know what I said in my preview predictions, right? Roman Reigns will make something happen along the lines of Daniel Bryan getting him to tap out. And the thing was the referee was down and out. Edge was down and out from the chair shot. Bryan hooked on the yes lock viciously. And that son of a gun got Roman freaking Reigns to tap out. Not only did I thought they were just going to tease Roman tapping out. They had Roman legitimately tapping out. I thought he was going to pass out, but he did the whole thing. He passed out. He goes, he was barely awake and just tapping the fingers there. They had him legitimately tap. I was shocked they actually had Roman tap out. But it didn't work, as Edge would snap and he would attack both Bryan and Reigns with a steel chair, and then he'd leave. A new referee came in, Roman rolled over, and he pinned Bryan for the victory, but Bryan has an argument to be in the main event of WrestleMania now. Like, I wouldn't say they completely fixed what they kind of started with Edge complaining about Bryan getting involved, but I'm thinking, why would Edge, get upset about Bryan getting involved? When either way, he's getting a Universal title shot. And the only way he gets in is if the match gets screwed up. Well, in some ways, Edge got pushed over the limit, and when he snapped on Bryan and Reigns. But at the same time, I was still thinking, has this feud with Reigns and Edge gotten that personal that Edge was that desperate to beat Roman for the title at Mania? What would have been wrong with him just facing Bryan for the title? Like I said, I don't feel like, even though just Roman just egged on Edge, I don't feel like they really got that personal with Reigns and Edge to have Edge want to so badly face Roman Reigns over Daniel Bryan. You know what I mean? But that triple threat though, Mania, when it happens, it's still going to be awesome. I'm going to give it the credit, and I say it's going to be a pretty exciting match. Quite frankly, again, I don't know who's going to win that. I still think Bryan's probably in there to take the pin, but I don't know who's going to win that match. But it is going to be good. That may be one of the matches I do live reactions for. Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, and Edge for the Universal title. Be awesome. But yeah, Roman retains. Excellent main event. I enjoyed it. And that's going to do it. That is my live review of WWE Fastlane 2021. I gave it a C. The first half sucked. The second half, from Nakamura and Rollins on, it was a good show. But the first half, geez, oh man, again, did it suck. So I gave this show a C. Bryan and Reigns was my match of the night. Again, we're almost to 1,000 views for those live reactions. If you slip in a little few more minutes of your time, guys, I can get to 1,000 views on that, which would be awesome. Live chat before we go off the air. Technically, Daniel Bryan won that match, so does this mean we're going to see a triple threat at WrestleMania? Oh, we are getting a triple threat. Bryan has a case now for him to still be in that match. Because, again, he got Roman Reigns to tap out. Edge and Roman is one of the main events of WrestleMania. It's going to be different now. We've got Bryan in there, so we'll see how it goes. But, yeah, guys, it's Fastlane. Again, gave it a C. I will try to come up here again before I go to bed tonight to talk about Andrade's release. Still got to do that. And then I have plans tomorrow night. So Wednesday night I will review Raw. And I'll try to do both AEW and NXT later Wednesday night, if not Thursday. And go from there. And I also this week am trying my best to bring back my Harry Potter Let's Plays. That's another goal I have for this week. Bring those back. Half-Blood Prince should be starting off soon. So yeah, Mark and Tyler, thank you guys for joining me in the live chat, but I'm going to get off here and go down and watch Raw. So guys, what are your thoughts on WWE Fastlane 2021? Gave it a C. Enjoyed it a little bit more than Elimination Chamber. Elimination Chamber to me is still probably my weakest pay-per-view of the show. So guys, once again, what are your thoughts on the show? Leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. And be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. And follow me on Twitter at DemandAirboy93. Until then, guys, I check it out. Have a great rest of your night. And I'll see you all later. Peace out, everybody.